Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back to Darksiders. So we've got the Armageddon Blade combined. We're ready to pretty much beat the game. We got all the abysmal armor pieces. Interesting that you just needed to collect all the armor pieces and yet you needed to reforge the blade. The only thing I couldn't find is somewhere there's a wrath shard in the game. Maybe in a future point I haven't done yet, and somewhere there is a consumable. And that's it. Now I know where this enhancement is. It's for purchase for 5,000 souls from Volgrim. So no surprise there. And we've collected everything here. The leveling up of the weapons is just not going to happen. So if there is a new game plus, which I think there is, you know what we would want to do in that second playthrough. We'd probably also want to play it on hard, because it would be kind of silly to try to play it on easy. But I'm not sure any of that really matters now, because I think this may just be the end of the game. The Destroyer...
It's Abaddon.
Abaddon?
Uriel has led the Hellguard against him. It is as you foretold. The Hellguard will fall.
Angel of Death, serve me one last time.
This is a weird cut. Like, is this the past or the current time frame?
She mistook me for someone else. She loved him, and I believe that he loved her long ago, before all this.
So he killed Uriel,
Foolishly,
which
he
broke his
chose
death
duty
oath.
above all, and died for it. Will you do the same? Heaven hunts you. Hell hates you. All of creation cares not whether you live or die. Join me, war. Like a great sword, I will raise you up, and our enemies will shatter against us. The spoils of 1,000 victories will be yours. Or serve the justice of a corrupt council, and a creator who abandons his most faithful. I offer you this choice, Horseman. Would you serve in heaven, or rule in hell?
We've heard that before. It's interesting how he's like carefully holding on to her.
Once a coward did not.
He's like carefully holding her, but also he crushed her. So he half wants, like, he half wants to, let's see. So we are in a big area. Let's look. I guess we're starting with this. And then we're getting back down here. Let's look at the map just to see where we are. It's just a big arena, okay? Desperately needed the camera to roll around. Let's see. Where are you? And it looks like his hand is feels like the guy's paw's damaged already. And see, on the horse they said this does way more damage, so I don't know if that is true actually for this sequence. And let's see. And I can go into demon mode for what it's worth, but it's not really worth anything. And see, arguably it's right that you should, like, War should be on his steed when you're fighting the final boss. Let's see if we can change our weapon here. See, my horse just goes down in flames and then comes back. That's cool. Like, not having to baby something. How many times have you had a companion character in a game and it just dies? But this is almost like jousting. And oddly, jousting has never really been like a hugely successful thing implemented in a video game. I don't even think people have tried it. Even regular, like, actual swordplay has not really been tried to be emulated. Perhaps if VR really picks up an interest, that would be something we would see more of. Right. With the Armageddon blade and it sucking health out, you're in a pretty good position. And I'm not using stone skin. You can see my abysmal armor is gone from being like this. Well, the abysmal armor has made it so much better now that I could totally see somebody playing this on easy and then not having any struggle playing it on hard or possibly even apocalyptic difficulties, because we went from taking major amounts of damage to none. Now, you can kind of see that there's a lack of, both his things are now glowing. Seems like there's kind of a lack of story and level that should have happened here. Tap that B button and it refilled a lot of my health. Am I done? I wonder what stone skin looks like here. We'll turn it on.
The council has sent you to
Fiery. So I've got a chaos thing. Let's go ahead and use it. Wow, he knocked me out of my chaos form. Poison him while I'm here. And now we're quick time venting it while he's getting poisoned. So he seems like he's a better swordsman than War. What am I supposed to do when he jumps up? I'm gonna tap X like crazy this time. Oh, come on, man. Man, I may have to try something different. Now, super crazy tapping. There we go. That's too much tapping. Let's see. So he's trying to do some damage to me. The only thing I'm suffering from here is I'm about to run out of stone skin. But who cares? That really just means I just have to rely on my actual ability. Super crazy. X button. It's the same button each time. That helps.
You have forced my hand.
Come on. That's not working. And my stone skin is over. So now it's just my own life. But is that really an issue? Well, if he lands enough of those on me, it will be. Down 2 life bars. Man, he is definitely doing some cool moves. Let's try this. And he just knocks us out of that, so I should have saved that. Oh, come on. Maybe we'll counter some of the moves. And what's weird here is this is kind of the first time we've actually needed this. Needed to have more moves and actually play some real swordsmanship. I think I just defeated him.
You have taught me something, Abaddon. Sometimes duty must be cast aside to do what must be done. It is not for duty that I kill you now.
He rips off his wings.
Reap what you have sown, betrayer.
And so he kills him.
You had to know it was a one-way ticket.
The Council.
They knew you'd never play executioner because of your precious honor. They let you take the fall. They knew you'd butcher everyone involved to clear your name. And you did.
No!
Patience, whore. I've got some for you, too. I'll take that. If it were to get broken, you might get ideas. Like not going back in your little cage. It's tragic, really. You had freedom in the palm of your hand, and you lost it. What's so damn funny? Even you wouldn't laugh at your own funeral.
I'm laughing at yours.
Next sacramentum. The death oath is complete.
Hell God, bitch! What did you do? No, no, no! I'm going to pull your guts out through your halo! Keep getting up. I'll just kill you again. I was just following orders, like you. What are you going to do? Fight the council? Fight everyone? You'll never get away. You hear me? Never! Don't forget who holds the leash.
I haven't forgotten.
You knew. You knew what would happen here, what I would do. That's why you spared me.
No.
Then why?
Because I would not have the last of heaven's honor die with its champion.
All debts are repaid. The duty I uphold, it may call me to raise my sword against you. And if that day comes, I won't hesitate. You will be hunted. The White City for certain. The Council, and there will be others. You would wage this war alone?
No. Not alone.
And that's the end of the game. A little bit rough in the cutscenes in the final section. If you didn't quite get it, they didn't explain it greatly. He allowed her to stab him, which is what he saw in his vision of the future, and kill him. And he was dead. And then she broke the seventh seal and started Armageddon, the apocalypse. And in this case, Armageddon and Apocalypse are technically the same thing. Sometimes they are different things. Apocalypse specifically means with the Christian religion. This is mostly a Christian religion based story. Armageddon itself could be any like mass extinction of or end of the world event. So she broke the seventh seal, starting the Armageddon apocalypse, and that brought him back to life and called his three brethren, the other three horsemen, which you don't even see them here. It's really clear to me now that since the game is over, that I have messed up in my head some of the events in Darksiders 2, because kind of Darksiders 2, it's a good game, and I definitely want to play it. I wish I could play it right now and just continue the story, but it's not timing permitting, schedule permitting. It's not really something that can happen. I will probably get to it eventually and probably try to put it on my short list, but there's definitely some shortness in this game, and I think it is the kind of ultimate twist of the knife as far as the hatred of that helpful character in Zelda Ocarina of Time, because that pixie character that would say, hey listen, over and over again. Maybe in Japanese that wasn't as annoying as it was in the English version. So here they kill your assistant that was giving you hints on extremely rare occasions and really just ordering you around and making sure you did what the council wanted you to do. So now theoretically the four horsemen are at war with heaven and hell, and the earth itself has already been ruined. I suppose at a certain point, because there is time travel in this game, they could go back and try to bring the humans back to life, and that was what was supposed to happen. It was supposed to be the three kingdoms of heaven, earth, and hell, all strong enough to survive this end war and determine who the victor was, which almost kind of implies if one group needed to be stronger before it started, that implies that they really knew that the humans, the earthlings, were going to succeed in the apocalypse and get rid of both heaven and hell, which is, if they ever finished this 4-game series, that's exactly what I imagine you would want to see happen. Or you would want to see perhaps heaven and hell all destroyed and only the four horsemen survive. But that's kind of a boring point to it too. So lots of credits. Vigil Games made 2 games before THQ went out of business. THQ being the large the parent company of Vigil Games, and it's a real shame. It's a real shame because they certainly given enough time, would have made a Darksiders 3 and 4. That was totally their plan. Darksiders 2 maybe didn't sell as much as Darksiders, but well enough. Let's see what happens when we hit continue here. We've got a little bit of time to stretch, otherwise this is going to be a really short game. So we are here, and therefore if I wanted, like, I think this goes to Eden. Let's see. I spent about an extra hour last time, last recording, running around looking for all collectibles, and I didn't find them all. And that kind of is a bummer. And so I want to see if there's a new game plus element. Let's see, does this end up in Eden? Yes, it does. So the idea that you can't even get back to Eden is not true. Let's go ahead, and there was nothing that happened here. Let's go ahead and quit to the title screen. So I really enjoyed this game. I love the slightly darker theme, but not going too crazy with it. This isn't Dante's Inferno with heavy amounts of horror and nudity and blood. It's still something that you would barely get an M rating or a T+ rating. I'm not sure what it really got. It probably did get an M rating, but not something so awful that parents would be burning CD-ROMs or game cartridges in the street. It's a mature version on the Legend of Zelda. It's actually kind of short on puzzles. It's kind of short on some story and dungeons around everywhere. So there's definitely some things to do. And see, if I choose apocalyptic difficulty, you can start it using the abysmal armor. So this is an interesting thought. Let's start the game again and see the trailer and just how far we've gone. I really want to see a Darksiders 3, and THQ Nordic has a good chance of making it, because while they aren't actually THQ, they bought the rights to these games, they released the remasters, and I don't think they're just trying to get some money off of it. I think they do want to start it, continue it. Now, the problem is that the people who worked on Vigil Games are probably separated everywhere. Here's your shadow version of what the other characters look like. But you can see War is the guy in the front, and he barely even looks like the War in this game. This trailer intro was obviously made like years and years before the game was made before anything. And you can also see that at the intro. It probably took them, they probably made this to announce the game, and then the intro Armageddon demo probably came out 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 years after they announced it, and then I wouldn't be surprised if the game came out maybe 2 or 3 or 4 years later. So I wouldn't be surprised if in total this whole game, that would have said THQ before, but this is the remastered version. And they're still crediting Vigil Games even though they're shut down. The people have moved on. But this part, which is completely different animation for the rest of the game, is clearly something that would have been a very early trailer. But not a real problem. And boy, does it still look good for 7 years old. And a game that I suspect may have been in production for 8 years. Like, it still looks good. And it kind of then confuses me why so many other games look bad when they're not as old. A lot of it comes down to pride. This was Vigil Games' baby. This was the first game they ever made. They wanted to start with a splash. They had the money because THQ, the old THQ, used to waste money a lot, and I bet they overfunded the production of this game, and it helped. Now, I think the game could have been longer, certainly, but for their first attempt, it was fine. I will certainly look back on Darksiders 2 and see if it has more or less puzzles and how well those work, more or less dungeons and how that works. I know Darksiders 2 is a slightly different game because it's an RPG where you level up your scythe and you potentially are motivated to grind through fighting a little bit more. I think that might have been its problem. Yeah. So, still watching the trailer. Don't really have too much critical to say about this game, really. I very much enjoyed it. I very much wish there was more of it. If this came out today, I'd be happy with it. I may not be happy if this was a Square Enix or Ubisoft game, because when you compare this to like the newest big company games like The Witcher 3, Witcher 3 is massively longer and has way more story, but otherwise it's kind of fine. So we start with the abysmal armor and we can't do anything, and we start with 6 health bars, so you don't even you don't even start with the maximum health here compared to what we got to. And one of them hit me, but it doesn't seem like it's doing much damage to me. It didn't seem like at the end of the game you got to keep the Armageddon blade, and we didn't really get to figure out who the girl was. So there's this slight implication that the girl who turned Abaddon into the Destroyer was Uriel, but maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was another character. Let's see. And here we have human beings running around, and that's an interesting turn of events. So I'm trying to wait for this to run out, but it won't actually run out until this. We didn't do much with the Guardians after the beginning of the game. They're kind of forgettable. Same with the zombies, same with the gun. When it gets down to it, there's quite a few elements that show up and then don't get integrated. Possibly there was a secondary team that worked on the back half of the game, and they didn't know if the gun was going to get implemented or didn't know how to really integrate it. It would have been really easy just to have targets that could only be shot by the gun and have those appear. Let's see, soon here the horn will go. And I figured we'd heal the horn.
What is happening?
I figured you would heal the horn. Now I'm down to 4 health. When they broke the 7th seal, but it didn't happen. And that's a mistake in my opinion. I'm trying to find the helicopter where the achievement is. There is one achievement that you can only get here, whereas the other achievements you can get anywhere. And that's to pick up a car and throw it at the helicopter, wherever the helicopter is. And I don't think I'm getting health back. it's a little confusing in some parts of the story. It feels like they would have been able to explain things a little bit better. They should have. Here you can see some police over there shooting guns and it's just doing nothing. And they get you really early with this creep, but they don't ever do anything amazingly interesting with it. Let's see. See, they just showed us this, and now they want us to learn the same lesson twice. It's, I suppose, interesting enough, but... And these demons that fly here, we don't ever actually see them fly in the game, I don't think. I think they're always just crawling on the ground. And it would be kind of funny if the magician character was somewhere hiding in this whole thing. Seems like I'm still taking a large quantity of damage. So even with the abysmal armor being the only thing that's New Game Plus, if that is actually the case, then playing Apocalyptic is gonna turn out to be painful. But I've got to kind of run through this whole section. So my hope is I can rush through all of this and then skip a lot of things and end up at the crossroads. So sorry to replay the game a second time, and I'm certainly not going to go all the way through it. There is also the question of did I get the achievement for beating it on easy, or did I not? Would I really have to? So I'd have to throw a car at that helicopter, and I don't think I can right now. Let's see. Is there a helicopter? Let's see. Where's the helicopter? Like, either I missed the helicopter section and that achievement, which would really suck. Sure, if I was really concerned about it, I would have looked at a video and seen exactly where it shows up. You see, my life is going down more and more. That is very strange about this game, how it just doesn't ever really let up on health. You've got to make a big deal of it yourself. Let's see. Like, I see no helicopter here. I see no helicopter here. So, like, this feels like if this is where my one chance is gonna be, I really am gonna only have one chance. Cause see, let's go ahead and skip these if we can. Yep. And see. Like, so where is that helicopter? Hey, that is like the Washington Senate, the Congress. Nah, that can't be the Congress building because that's not in the right place at all. And see, if I died here before defeating him, it would change the story and his eye wouldn't be scarred. So I don't think the game you can actually die. I think they want you to succeed and then they show you the cutscene in which you fail. And I did totally miss that helicopter, wherever it was. I don't know. That's kind of a terrible achievement. This was very early days for achievements. Probably one of the first few months that achievements had come out. I guess is when this game came out. I could be really wrong about that, but it seems like this is one of the very first games I started caring about achievements when I first played it. Straga here is not the best enemy in the world. Like I get it. They didn't want to go too strong the first time and have us actually fighting the devil or anything, but he's not much of anything. And you don't see any other characters that are anything close to him. And see, now I'm down to 1 health. And then he crushes us in cutscenes. Let's just go ahead and skip all this. And skip all this. 3 incredibly long cutscenes. Then another cutscene. Let's see. It doesn't feel like it's a full new game plus. It just feels like you get the armor. So, perhaps in your first playthrough of the game, you should, like, it should just, that's number 5 as far as cutscenes. Just so much they're trying to explain here instead of naturally explaining it. It's not awful, and it lets you, eventually you get into the game and you don't have to deal with all of that, but at the beginning you do spend almost, I think it was like 40 minutes of the first hour with watching cutscenes. Alright, so we are here. And this is exactly where we start. And where is this area, actually? This is a little tutorial section, so maybe there was a consumable here. Like, and you start with this, and you start with a life essence, and that is it. Your sword needs to be charged up. Your wrath needs to be charged up. So all those collectibles, all these things, again, are right there. And how much souls would you get if breaking this? 1? Yeah, it's like 1. So on normal you were getting 3. Now you're getting 1. On the most difficult thing. These items aren't even giving you souls, so you're gonna have to play really carefully. And I imagine there's nothing more to learn from this, because it's not like, oh man, another cutscene. Like, I was gonna see how hard these guys hit me. And even with the abysmal armor, These guys are doing a moderate amount of damage. It's not nothing. This is probably the best point right here to try to get a combo going too. With a lot of zombies attacking you. And I assume that all of that now has been reset too. Collect all that. Yeah, and the gauntlet glow element certainly doesn't really do anything useful. Let's see. And then how's my health right now? It's totally full. Let's let this guy pound me a couple times. One more time. Alright, now let's see how much health we get here. All the way full, so doesn't feel like that changes too much. The dragging items element still a factor. And see, I don't have counter right now, so I can't even use it if I wanted. Like, it doesn't happen. But look, on Apocalyptic, I'm about to die. And see, I think that's a good place to end it, right there. Now, of course, I've played well, so I know that I could go back and load whatever game is the oldest game, which I believe, I cannot really believe I spent 17 hours on this game. It would be this. I could go back and try to find a few collectibles and get the rest of the achievements, but because there's no New Game Plus, I'm very disappointed with that, really, because this game really screams out for it. The only way you could unlock everything, it seems, is to play it on easy. You're just not going to have enough souls. It's just not going to happen. Even if I loaded the game now and ran around the entire map fighting the few enemies that still appear, I'd probably need another 50,000 souls, and I only got 50,000 souls in the entire game. It would be another 10 hours at least of just grinding, and that's not fun. And that's the problem with RPGs in general, is when you have to grind to have currency for all of that. For the original game, it would have been nice if we had a little bit more backstory on the four horsemen and seeing who they are. Are they angels? Are they demons? What are they? Where did they come from? Who is War? What's his motivation? His only motivation really here is that he was framed the whole time and being used to kill people. Which, it's a fine story. It's a little weak in places, but not terrible. The Warmastered edition runs almost flawlessly. We had a couple of issues here, particularly considering that we were able to run it for the entire time at 1080p 16 times, very high quality with the FSAA. The only thing I would say is that the mouse sensitivity, if the controller sensitivity on the camera and the right stick could be adjusted, that would be, I guess you could over here, couldn't you? But you would have to, I don't know, that would have to be reprogrammed a little bit too. There you have post-process effects and all that is on. This is definitely the right way to do a remaster. Now, I'm not really sure if I went and launched the original game, which I also have, if the original game wouldn't run fine too, it just may not be able to go up as high or run quite as smoothly. I would definitely suggest play the Warmaster edition. There's really no reason to go back and play the original unless you want to get the achievements for both editions, which then that would be its own thing. Although I still feel like getting achievements in this game is probably not worth your time, particularly since you have to ride the horse in circles forever to get that one. And the way achievements work in Steam, if you don't get 100% of the achievements, it doesn't count towards the 100% completion metric, and that's all Steam really seems to care about. And frankly, nobody should care about achievements, and I talk about them way too much. They hurt the video game industry, obviously. When the game is telling you to ride the horse for an hour straight in circles, which is probably what I would need to do. Very, very happy with it. It's a shame that I record these games earlier, because The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild still hasn't come out, so I can't really do any comparisons to that. But if it came down to, do I want to play Darksiders or do I want to play Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, I think Darksiders Warmastered Edition wins because it has a remastered version and looks really good, and Ocarina of Time would kind of break my heart if I had to play it. Even in the most recently released version, I still think it would have a lot of problems and look very low resolution. Plus, then I would have to deal with Nintendo's issues of copyright claiming everything on YouTube, and so that's why I don't cover Nintendo games. I hope Breath of the Wild does succeed, but I personally don't see how it will. Being on the Nintendo Switch, it has to succeed not only as a game, but as a system seller that convinces people to buy a, I believe, $300 console/portable machine to play the game, the one game that's really interesting until Christmas next year when the next Mario game comes out. So it's really gonna have to be the best game ever and beat Skyrim, since it looks a lot like Skyrim, and beat all its predecessors, all the previous Zelda games, and beat the few Steam PC games like Darksiders that have done similar things. Not a lot of adventure games out here, and at the end of the day, this is sort of an adventure game. I guess it's half adventure, half button masher. There are combo moves, and in retrospect, if I was in charge of making this game, I would have said, don't purchase combo moves, let's just have people hit X. But fighting is an important thematic element in this game, and you can't really reduce too much of that. So I don't mind that. I don't mind that we upgraded and leveled up our weapons. Some of these elements don't really usually get mixed together in an adventure game, but it was cool enough. I guess I would have to level up all my weapons on easy too, because that's not going to happen on normal. On normal had no trouble really, except for with the Spider Queen. Exactly the same place I had trouble the first time I played the game. I think that battle is a little broken. Everything else, easy peasy. The final battle, the final cutscenes have a problem. It is a shame that nowhere in the options here do you have the opportunity to look at the cutscenes, nor do you unlock any art, nor is there like a developer's commentary, which would have been nice, but I can understand why, since the Visual Games is out of business, it doesn't exist. So as a remaster, it's not particularly the best remaster to ever be made. It's not adding anything much to the game other than making the game run smoothly and work, and I think that's good, since the game didn't really give me too much trouble and didn't crash or anything. Well, I won't belabor it anymore. Thank you for watching this series with me. I hope you enjoyed it as much as me. It definitely was a blast from the past and very much fun. This is the most fun I've had playing a game in a while, because a lot of games I've played lately have been very buggy, very crashy, and this one just ran smooth and looked great. And for a 7-year-old game, that is amazing that it looks great. For a 7-year-old game, it's nice that it runs smooth, although that's kind of expected considering they've had 7 years to patch any bugs out after the release. That's it for this series. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, click that bell to get notifications, comment down below, and watch every second of my videos. All of that helps me with YouTube and tells them that my videos are worth watching. If you want to support me even further, please follow and friend me on all the social media links that are down below in the description. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Google+, Steam, and Battle.net. So every one of those services, if you follow me, that helps me with those services, and it lets you have a backup to see what I'm doing and when my newest videos are out. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.